Hey, it's Keelan here from Success Insider, and I've got a very
Hi.
special guest for you today. She's a recent graduate on LMA, our flagship course, otherwise known as Life Mastery Achievers. She's going to share with us her experiences on the course so you can get a really good idea of essentially what it's like from that insider perspective. So, without any further ado, let's start with the introductory question, which is what's your name, where are you based, and what do you do?
I am Ivan Martinez, also known as Iva or Eva for those that speak Latin or Spanish. I currently reside in Michigan, Warren, Michigan, and I currently am unemployed, but I am actively preparing myself to go back to the workforce for sure.
Okay, well, Eva, thank you so much for joining us. What I'd like to do now is to just, if we can, just go back in time a bit and think about prior to joining LMA, what was it that was happening in your life? What were you feeling day to day? That made you think, I need a change and to be receptive to enrolling on LMA. What was that for you?
Well, I reached a point that though I was searching for professional help, and also reading and trying to research myself on certain situations, medical conditions, and other things that were coming together. I figured I needed more help than what I was getting, something that helped me internally and emotionally, and made me stronger to in order to battle these situations. And throughout my struggles, I about 12 weeks ago or so, I came across Tim Han. Yes.
Okay, okay. And so what was that process like of when you first came across Tim Han? How did that happen? How did you feel about it as well at the time?
Well, honestly, I was just taking space for myself. I needed to think, but I never take time to think,
Mm,
unfortunately. And
mm,
that's one of the things that I did learn in LMA. And I was searching and through YouTube, looking at videos, listening to music, and then here pops Tim Han with
mm,
something that seemed important to say.
mm,
And I was interested. Again, I was searching,
mm,
and I started to listen to him. And
mm,
everything that he said resonated with me. It tapped into my mind, my heart. And I just told myself, this is it. This has to be it. I can't
mm.
go anywhere else. This is it.
Okay, okay. So, and when you were engaging with the content, etc. What was your thought process like? I mean, could you just tell us a bit more about what it was that you found engaging or attractive in terms of what was being offered?
Number one, I did like the videos.
Mm,
Tim Han's, one-on-one coaching,
mm,
excellent. His voice was not, strict or firm. It was very communicative. It
mm,
reached you,
mm,
and that was something, very. It was different.
mm,
He wasn't instruct. It wasn't an instruction that he was giving you
mm,
or books to read. It was information that he had experienced and learned, of course, throughout his life experience
mm,
that touched me because
mm,
I found myself mirroring some of the examples that he gave of his life experience.
mm,
And I thought that also his age, he was so young. And I said,
mm.
this guy is so wise for his age. And I need some of that. I
Yeah,
need some of
yeah.
that information that he wants to share.
Mm,
So I needed to dig in more for
mm.
sure.
Okay. So, if we think about what was your main concern just prior to enrolling on LMA, do you remember, what maybe barriers came up for you in terms of, oh, actually, I might not do this, or was there anything you had to push through in that sense? And if so, how did you go about doing that?
Well, there's always a sales pitch to
Mm,
everything,
mm,
right? And that was my main and only concern
mm,
because I figured if he was real, then I would get whatever I invested in it, and I was worth it.
mm,
I was at a point that I was willing to invest anything
mm,
to make myself feel better, to come back to my reality, who
mm,
I thought I was,
mm,
and or who I had been in the past, and I just felt that it was a journey that I had to discover, that I had not investigated anything like that before. I've heard of other speakers, public speakers, and other type of motivators, but they never really, intrigued me, opened my curiosity to investigate. He did. Yeah.
Oh, so it's about that, the real investigative aspect of LMA in
Yes.
terms of we're really going to be looking deep internally to work out what's actually happening and then what we can do about that.
That's what I felt. Definitely. That's what I felt. And that was in the first instinct. And when I started, it was just the first week. I would even say the first week. The first few times that I listened to him, it was just more, it just opened up my curiosity. It was just like, unraveling a gift, and learning more. I would say it like that, truly. I really feel like that, for sure.
All right. So thinking about in terms of that, like gift aspect, I suppose, what surprised you the most about the course? So you're on board, right? And you're starting to move through, and just thinking back over that journey, is there something that stands out to you in terms of, a surprise, a positive surprise, or a moment that made you happiest? Was there something that you thought this was the most valuable thing for me?
Definitely. I remember, and I'm getting chills right now because I remember week 5, I believe it was, step 4, and it talked exactly about the symptoms that I was feeling. And I asked the doctor at one time, am I going through this because of this situation, emotional, stresses? And he was like, no, we don't really know, but that's not really it. And here I am, listening to Tim Han, and I'm looking at the description, and it's like everything that he described was like, it was mirroring me. And I said, this man knows what he's talking about, that these professional doctors with years, of experience could not answer a simple question for me, but just give me a prescription. And I was like, no, this is the right road for sure. As a matter of fact, I even sent him a thank you, a message on Facebook, because I was so joyful. I was so joyful that I put everything down and I sent them a message for sure. And it just brings chills to me because ever since then, I did start progressing. I was doing great. I enjoyed the journey. The information was fantastic. But when I hit that information, it was like, the sky's open and, it's a new day for sure.
Okay. Could you tell us a bit more about, you spoke about, as long as you're comfortable doing so, you spoke about, some symptoms, for example, you were experiencing, and that there was something in week 5 that really hit on that. Could you just tell us, a bit more, if you're comfortable doing so, of course, a bit more detail about what that was? Because I think it could be really useful for people to hear.
I'm thinking whether it was week 4 or 5, but in any event, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Yes.
I don't like to say I have fibromyalgia because it's like I'm taking it and I don't want it. I don't want that. But I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia several years ago, and then it just has so many symptoms, and stress is one of the primary things that triggers the symptoms, and that would be sleepless nights, many headaches. I even reach migraines now, and just foggy brain. You can't think clearly, you can't read, because you can't concentrate. The mornings are horrible because if you don't have a restful night or nights in a row, there comes a time that you feel like if you've been beaten and you can't get out of bed for a few days. It's a constant fatigue. It's several combination of symptoms that it was hard to pinpoint for myself. So I went to professionals, seeking people that knew. And the first one that I got was like, there's no cure for that. And it's like, oh, thank you very much. But then, of course, with fibromyalgia comes depression. And, it's just a whole, gamut of symptoms that you have to deal with, one at a time. And when I saw this description that Tim Han gave, and he did say fibromyalgia, along with depression and other symptoms of stress that stress creates, I was amazed. I was really
Mm,
amazed.
mm,
And I can't say that he was wrong, because
mm,
I can honestly tell you, when I applied the information and when I took it all in and I applied the affirmations and um the journaling for sure, all
mhm.
that all together definitely helped me and
Okay.
moved me forward like a rocket for
Mm.
sure.
So, and when you say moved you forward, are you saying that in terms of your actual symptoms of fibromyalgia, that the reduction in stress levels, that these different techniques that we use through LMA and your implementation of that has had a positive effect on that?
For sure,
Wow.
definitely. Meditation has helped me tremendously,
Mm,
because that allows your mind and Tim, I mean, I always thought about meditation. Oh, that would be nice to
mm,
know. That's it was a curiosity for me, but I never really had the time
mm,
for meditating, or never took the time.
mm,
And one of the things as a matter of fact, the warrior, meditation, which is the first lesson, is a couple of minutes, if that.
mm,
Yet I was able to actually relax, visualize. And
mm,
I'm like, wait a minute, that helped me the first time. Is going to help me along the way as I practice more and I expand my time.
mhm,
And then that's when I started to meditate seriously every
mm,
day, several times a day.
mm,
And Fridays is my meditative day for
mm,
sure. And it has helped me tremendously.
mm,
Of course, healthy foods. I changed
mm,
my diet, or I improved it, because I was already eating well,
mm,
but I eliminated a lot of things that were just not healthy for me, that caused
mm,
inflammation in my body.
mm,
And Tim also gave us an example of, of how you should take care of yourself,
mhm,
to be a better
mm,
person, to have the energy that
mm,
you need, to take on these days, these challenges,
mm,
and, just the day-to-day efforts that you have to make. And
mm.
I learned and I applied and I repeated and I practiced, and it worked. Honestly, it
Okay.
worked. And I'm still going. I'm still going. There's a
Exactly,
lot,
exactly.
there's a lot of room for work for sure.
Yeah, there always is. There always is. So
Exactly.
now, in terms of your fibromyalgia, I'm saying it's completely disappeared or anything like that, but that there has been a lessening of those symptoms, and that you're in less pain than you were prior. Is that right?
I could honestly tell you, I haven't had fibromyalgia pain in about 3 weeks,
Wow.
though it does go dormant. I
Mm,
understand that, but it
mm,
hasn't been dormant in quite in a few years.
mm.
Okay,
Okay.
it rests maybe for a day or two, and then I'm back again.
Mm,
But it's been 3 weeks or so
mm,
that I haven't had fibromyalgia pain. Unfortunately, the migraine still persists, but that's another issue altogether.
mm.
Um, but according to what Tim said, and I applied and I did, it has helped me tremendously,
Okay.
tremendously.
Okay. And so, would it be fair to say that that would be the biggest benefit that you've experienced from LMA? Is that right?
Yes, for
Okay.
sure. The biggest
Wow.
benefit is having a rested mind, definitely meditating, thinking, allowing yourself to rest,
Mm,
allowing yourself to apply the lessons, giving yourself
mm,
the opportunity, because my first few weeks, and still I struggle, with other areas that I need to work on.
mm.
But I could definitely tell you that 100%, that is the first great benefit that I got from LMA for sure.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So I think the last question that I'll ask here is, if you imagine, and there will be people listening to this, but if you just imagine that someone is on the fence about joining LMA, seen maybe introductory advert, maybe introductory event, and they're just really not sure, what would you say to that person honestly to give them a good idea of perhaps which direction they should lean? What would you say?
I would tell them to do it. Just go for it. They have absolutely nothing to lose and will not lose anything at all. They will gain so much. They will learn who they really are. They will do some self exploration. They will also explore their surroundings, okay? How they behave towards other people and how people behave towards them. Um, Visualizing, your path, moving forward and knowing your destination. I think how much can you pay for that? Really,
Exactly.
really.
Yeah.
Even, college, graduates don't
Mm,
get that far,
mm,
right? They come
mm,
back wanting to know more, learning more.
mm, mm.
But this road, definitely, you can't lose. You cannot lose with it.